Have you ever thought about those people, maybe in sports, maybe somewhere else, who just scream potential? You look at them and think, yeah, that's the one.
Oh, absolutely. You just see it. That raw talent.
Exactly. But then you hear they're still being told, sometimes pretty publicly, hey, you got to earn this. It's a weird tension, isn't it?
Especially when you're talking pro sports.
Mm.
Millions on the line, seasons hanging in the balance. It's fascinating.
Right. And that's exactly the kind of thing we're diving into today, specifically looking at Anton Harrison and his role or potential role at right tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So our mission here is to figure out why, even though the Jags are saying loud and clear Harrison needs to win the job, at least one expert thinks he's already the clear choice.
The obvious answer, right?
Yeah, the obvious answer. We're digging into an article from John Shipley. It was on Jacksonville Jaguars on SI. Then Yardbarker picked it up, updated just yesterday, June 26th. We want to give you the shortcut, really, to understanding what's going on with this key spot on the O-line, player development, and, what it means for the whole Jaguars offense this year. Let's get into it.
Okay, so setting the scene. The Jaguars are heading into 2025. They've still got some questions, right? Across the board.
Yeah, definitely not a finished product yet. Lots of moving parts.
And right tackle is definitely one of those spots under the microscope. Anton Harrison is front and center there. And the challenge for him is pretty direct. The team's made it, quote, clear this offseason that Harrison has to earn his spot.
Not just hinted at it, they've said it, which is a statement in itself.
And it's not just talk either. He's got real competition breathing down his neck.
Tumadoga.
Yeah, the veteran guy. The article says he's right there ready to take it.
So Harrison can't just coast based on draft status or potential. Exactly. The message seems to be, like the article puts it, nobody on the roster should just be handed anything. Everyone's got to fight for it.
And, that actually makes a lot of sense, even for a guy with Harrison's talent. Pushing him like this.
Yep.
It's not necessarily about doubt.
Okay, so what's the thinking there?
Well, it's about forcing that potential to become reality. It's like forging steel, right? You need the heat, the pressure to make it strong and reliable. They want him to integrate that raw ability with, discipline, consistent technique week after week, not just flashing brilliance.
Okay. So the pressure is part of the development plan.
Exactly. It's an investment. They're trying to turn that high draft pick into someone who anchors that line for, hopefully, years to come. It forces growth.
Got it. That makes sense. Which then brings us back to that really interesting part of the article. Despite all this earn it talk, the expert writing this piece says Harrison appears to be the obvious answer if the question is who is the best option at the position this season.
Right. That's the core tension.
So, why? If he still has things to prove, why is he seen as the obvious best choice right now? What makes him stand out that much?
It really just boils down to that ceiling we mentioned, the sheer undeniable talent. The article talks about his massive potential, how he could truly be a difference maker. Not just okay, but a game changer for the line and maybe the whole offense.
Okay, but potential is one thing. What has he actually shown?
That's the key. It's not just guesswork. The article points to specific high-level traits he's already put on display. Like, remember his rookie season, it mentions he thrived on an island in many games.
Which, for a tackle, especially a rookie, being left alone against pass rushers, that's tough.
It's huge. It means he has the footwork, the hand technique, the smarts to handle elite guys one-on-one, sometimes without help. That's a really valuable skill.
Okay, that's a strong example. Anything else?
Yeah, and this one's maybe even more concrete. The piece highlights how he consistently answered the challenge of Houston Texans defensive end Will Anderson.
Oh, wow. Anderson Jr.?
The very same. Third overall pick in 23, already a beast in the league, known for that explosive first step.
And Harrison faced him 4 times, it says, over the last 2 years.
4 times. And consistently answered the challenge. That's not just surviving. That suggests he matched up well repeatedly against truly elite competition.
Okay, yeah. That paints a picture, facing down that guy consistently.
Exactly. So when you see those flashes, that ability to go toe-to-toe with the best, that's why the expert calls him the obvious answer. Even with room to grow, that top-end capability is already visible.
Right. The peak performance is undeniable. He's shown what he can be. But then, like you said, there's the flip side. The article's also very clear. Harrison has to improve for the Jaguars' offensive line to take a step forward.
The potential is there, but potential doesn't win games every Sunday on its own.
So if he's got these high-level traits, what specifically needs to, get better? What's missing for that consistency?
Yeah.
And how do the Jags plan to help him get there?
It really comes down to his floor and consistency.
Yeah.
Think about it like,
Like his average day needs to be better or fewer mistakes.
exactly, his ceiling is sky high, maybe Pro Bowl level.
Yeah.
But you need reliability. You need his worst day to still be pretty darn good.
Hmm.
The Jags know this. The article says they're as cognizant of that as ever. It's about minimizing those occasional lapses.
Like a missed block here, a penalty there, getting beat by a counter move, that kind of stuff.
Precisely. Raising that baseline level of play. Making those brilliant moments the norm, not just highlights you see once in a while. That's the goal. Make the floor closer to the ceiling.
Okay. And how does he get there? Is it just on him?
Not entirely, and this is crucial. The article points to an improved coaching staff and scheme as key factors. Player development isn't just willpower. The right coaching, the right system that can unlock things.
So maybe new techniques from the O-line coach, a scheme that plays more to his strengths.
Yes, exactly. Refining his hand placement, his footwork against different types of rushes, maybe tailoring the strength program. And yeah, the scheme matters too. Maybe more play action, quicker passes sometimes, things that don't leave him isolated for quite as long on every single snap. It puts him in positions to succeed more consistently.
Makes sense. Support him while he develops that consistency.
Right, and if he does make that leap, I mean, the benefits are huge. The article says it's clear and would help the offense for years to come.
Yeah, you can see how that stability would ripple outwards.
It's not just about 2025. It's about building a cornerstone for their offense long term.
That actually leads perfectly into the next point, this long-term vision. The article suggests there's a specific end goal the Jaguars have in mind for their tackles. What does that look like? Why is it so important?
Well, the piece specifically mentions the proposed tackle duo of Harrison and Walker Little as that end goal.
Little on the left, Harrison on the right.
That seems to be the ideal scenario they're shooting for. Imagine anchoring both sides of your line with young, talented guys like that for, say, the next 5, 6, 7 years.
That would be huge for Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely. Cost-controlled talent, stability at maybe the two most important spots on the line besides center. It protects your franchise QB. And think what that does for the whole offense. More time in the pocket, cleaner running lanes. It makes everything easier. You don't need to keep tight ends in to chip as much.
Frees up receivers, makes the playbook bigger.
Exactly. It makes the entire offense more versatile, more dangerous.
So it's not just about finding two good players. It's about that specific pairing and what it enables.
Right. Harrison and Little, they're both pretty athletic guys, good fits for modern offenses. If they both hit their potential, that's a foundation you can really build on. And that brings us back to the article's conclusion, which kind of sums it all up perfectly. It repeats that core idea. Harrison has to earn his role, but there is no reason to think the third-year tackle isn't ready to do so.
So the belief is there. The expectation is he'll rise to the challenge.
Yeah. The talent's there. The support structure seems to be improving. Now it's about putting it all together consistently. His success feels pretty critical if the Jags offense wants to take that next big step, turning that O-line from a potential weakness into a real strength.
So yeah, we've really unpacked that paradox, haven't we? This idea of Harrison being the obvious answer while still needing to definitively earn the job.
And it's clear it's more than just about one player. It's a whole team strategy playing out, pushing potential, building for the future.
Right. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Definitely. If we zoom out a bit, it touches on a broader question, really. Applies way beyond football. When do you bet on that undeniable ceiling? When do you decide someone is the answer, even if parts of their game or their work still need polishing, still need that consistency?
It's that balance between trusting the talent and demanding the proof.
Yeah. Trust, development, and recognizing that potential needs nurturing to become consistent performance. It's not automatic.
No, definitely not. So as we look ahead to training camp and we see how this all plays out on the field, what's the big takeaway for you listening right now? Think about how a player's growth, especially when you factor in coaching and scheme, can just elevate an entire team. It's not just about one position. It's about building something sustainable, something to chew on for sure.